As promised, I'm going to go through the word portion of the midterm. What I've done is to go ahead and type all the text out. Okay, because I didn't think you'd be really interested in seeing me just type stuff. So the first step, I just typed all the text out. And as the instruction says, go ahead and reproduce the above document on the sheet. So what I'll have to do now is to apply the formatting, the styles, insert the tabs, the section breaks and things of that nature. But as you can see, first step, type out the text. Now I'm going to start at the top and then work my way down. One of the first things it says is insert the header. Alright, we didn't cover that. So this ended up being bonus if you actually did it. All you have to do is to click on the insert tab, and you click on header, and it's kind of like matching which one kind of looks like it. And if you keep scrolling, you'll come upon this one right here. It looks like it, and then you just type in today's date. I'm just going to use this, and then you type in what you see there. And that takes care of that portion. Again, you didn't have to do it if you didn't get it. You weren't penalized. It's just bonus if you did it correctly. Where it says your name, you type in your name. Alright. The second portion says apply the title style, and it's pointing to that text I missed out. So let me type it. So so I'm supposed to apply the title style, so I'm going to select it, apply the title style. Now when I look at it, I see that the Brooklyn Castle portion is all caps, so I can fix that clicking on this option, uppercase. And this portion here is underlined, so you just have to manually, change it. And it's all supposed to fit on the same line, so I'm just going to make the text size smaller to make it fit so far. Okay, so later I'll come back and deal with the style portions. Right now I'm just going to apply what it says to do. For the paragraph below it, it says apply intense emphasis to chess was clearly for smart people. So chess was clearly for smart people. I'm going to go ahead and apply intense emphasis. It says to make the line spacing exactly 20. Line spacing options, and it says exactly 20. Okay, and I'm supposed to go ahead and justify this. So if I continue working downwards for the chess pieces, it says that this should be apply heading 1. If you're wondering how I knew that this portion was supposed to be justified, I didn't give you instructions for everything, because you could see that it was justified. Both the left and the right margins are actually straight, so those things I actually expected you to pick up on. Okay, so the next portion below is the tabs. It's not too bad. Okay, I have the numbers here already, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that's taken care of. So remember, the first step in doing tabs successfully is to go ahead and highlight everything that you want the tabs to apply to. So I want my tabs to apply to everything here. In fact, let me get rid of this little space in between there. Alright, so first you type out the text, then you highlight what you want the tabs to apply to. I'm going to open the paragraph dialog box launcher. Next thing I'm going to do is click on tabs, and it says I should have a 3.5 inch tab, so I type 3.5 and I click on write. Click set. Next option is 6 inches center. And another thing you need to take into consideration is the type of lines. Okay, so for the 6 inches, because the tabs, sorry, the leaders, what we call them, always come after, or I should say before the tabs. So for the 6 inches, if you look at it, it looks like a straight line. So I'm going to select the straight line option and press set. For 3.5, it's supposed to be this dotted line right here, so I'm clicking on it. Select number 2, and then press set, and then press OK. So I already had pressed, I had a little space there, so that automatically adjusted, so I'm going to remove that. And now you work from left to right. So I'm going to press the tab key. I'm going to go here and then press the tab key. Okay, tab, 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 tab. So just put it in front of what I want, and then I press tab, put it in front of what I want to move over, and then I press tab. Okay, so you're kind of seeing the idea of how it kind of should have looked like. Now, I don't want for this portion up here to have any leaders, so I'm going to have to highlight this portion separately. Click on the paragraph dialog box launcher, tabs, and then I'm going to set this to none. 6 and set it to none, and press OK. That gets rid of it. And for number 5, this particular one here, the 3.5 should have been a straight line as well. So paragraph dialog box launcher, tabs, 3.5. Click on a straight line and press set, and then press OK. So now it looks pretty similar to what I have there. Yeah, so that's the main gist there. This would actually, well, yeah, so because when you look at it, it's actually brought in a little bit, because you can, in this case I manually put the numbers, but you can also highlight them all and just press the numbering button, and it would also put the numbers there for you. Either way, it didn't subtract. If you did it either way, it didn't really matter in my opinion too much. Oh my, let's delete that. Okay, so they're kind of aligned now. It says the line spacing should be 1.15 multiple, so I just select them. I click on spacing, line spacing options, multiple, 1.15. Okay, so something like that. And then now we go to the next big thing, columns. Okay, so all you really had to do, it's supposed to be justified if you look at the columns. So I'm just going to go ahead and justify it, this paragraph. Then I'm going to highlight everything that I want to put in a column. And then I'm going to go to page layout, then click on columns. I'm not going to click on just 2 because I want the line between options. I'm going to click on more columns, because that gives me the option for line between. As soon as I click on 2, note the instructions also says that the spacing should be 0.2 and the width should be 3.15. So 3.15, and the spacing should be 0.2. I'm going to click on line between. I'm going to press OK. And we're almost pretty much it. That's it. We just have to go ahead and highlight Brooklyn Castle and apply the emphasis style each time. So I'm going to go back to the Home tab, Emphasis, Castle again. Emphasis. Brooklyn Castle is somewhere here. And click on emphasis. Alright, so this is how it's looking so far. Again, there was an option to insert a footer. Again, I didn't teach you that, but if you did it, you got extra points. Pretty much the same thing, insert. And except, if you looked in the footer portion, you won't actually find something that looks exactly like that. You'd have to go to the page number portion to the right. Go to bottom of page, and then you scroll down. And you see the option right here. But again, it's bonus. Okay, so once we've actually done this, what we're interested in doing is making this particular page landscape, while this remains portrait. So as good practice tells you, you're going to turn on show and hide. Okay, and I'm just going to click at the bottom of my page. Okay, and then I'm going to go to page layout. Would have been a bit better if I had, because as you can see, I pressed enter numerous times to get this second page. I don't like that because I didn't teach you all that way. Instead, I'm just going to use a page break so it could be a bit clearer. I'm going to get rid of that second page. Okay. And instead of just pressing enter to create a new page, I'm going to hold down control and then press enter, insert a page break. Okay, so I don't have all those paragraph marks, just a page break, because I remember teaching you all insert a page break, and then you want to click at the very end of the page break, and you can insert a continuous section break there. So page layout, I'm going to click on breaks, and then I'm going to click on continuous, and then I'm going to click on the second page, and I can now change it to landscape, and this remains in portrait. For the second page, all that is required for me to do now is to format it properly. So this should be size 22. Home tab, size 22. And this should be size 22 as well. It should be line spacing for these should be 3.0. Line spacing 3.0. And it should be bold. I didn't tell you it should be bold because you can see that it's actually bold. And the font type should be Georgia. So Georgia. Alright, and that's pretty much it right there. So that's what I was looking for. The last thing I have to do is change the styles. Remember, I told you that it should have been red. These portions here should have been red, light red. And many of you tried to manually change it, and I told you repeatedly you shouldn't be manually trying to do it. It's because we talked about something called styles. Remember, all these different styles here, you can get different variations of them. If you click on the change styles button and you go to style set, you'll see you have different ways in which the information will actually appear depending on the style that you style set that you decide upon. Now the one you're supposed to choose was fancy. Okay, so when you choose fancy, it's gonna give you the look that you want. This case is a tad bit off because I think I changed either the default theme. It should have been office. Yeah, it should have been office, but on your computers it would have been set to office. So when you so to avoid confusion, let me put it back to how it would have looked on your computer. On your computer it would have looked something like this, and you would have wanted these portions to be red, Alright, so this would have been red, this should have been red, this Brooklyn Castle should have been red. And how you do that is not by manually changing it to red, but going to change styles, going to style set. All you have to do is put your cursor over these and then look for the one that makes it look like it does on the page. And the answer is actually the fancy. Okay, so when you click on fancy, then it'll automatically turn to red, and that's how you do that portion. So that's actually that. If you want to put a bit more space in between, that's fine as well, but I wasn't really checking for that so much. But that's how you do that. Remember, it's a video, so you can always go back and rewind and double check. If you have any questions or concerns still, feel free to email me. Hope this helps.